Hello, Adrian Chandler back again to tell you a little bit more about our new programme, An Englishman Abroad. In the previous video, I gave you a bit of a sort of biography about Nicola Matteis' life. I'll talk a little bit about some of the music we might be hearing now. We will be hearing. Matteis and his father were pretty reasonable fiddle players. In fact, his father was, almost you might be able to say that he was sort of the first virtuoso violinist who came to London. Roger North, in his musical grammarian, comments about the different styles of playing that the father and the son possessed. So, for instance, he talks about the trills of the respective Matteis. He says the father's trill was slow and in time, whereas Matteis the younger's trill the trill was so fast it was almost as though the sound had stopped. I wonder, given a slow trill that's in time, sounds to me a little bit like a sort of 17th century gruppo kind of a thing that you might associate with music of people like Monteverdi. But certainly the Matteis the younger's trill sounds to me like the kind of developing the trill that was being used by people like Corelli, which is a properly slurred trill, maybe with a turn at the end of it. If you look at there's a few pieces of Matteis that survive in Dresden, thanks to Mr. Pisendel, Vivaldi's pupil, including two fantasias for solo violin. And these pieces are really hard. I mean, really, really ridiculously difficult. I find it, I very much doubt that Matteis' father would have been able to play those pieces. But given that, I'm assuming they were written for Matteis the Young himself to play, and in which case, when Vivaldi dedicated a set of violin concertos to Holy Roman Emperor Charles VI, Matteis' boss, in Vienna in 1727 as Vivaldi's Opus 9. The level, there are some hard, particularly the B minor concerto at the end of that set, really hard. It's particularly with Scordatore, you tune your G string up to a B, E string down to a D, etc. It's a real, messes with your head. It's a brilliant piece, but stuff like that, if Matteis could play these fantasias, don't think he'd have a problem with the Vivaldi Cetra. For some reason, in 1728, the following year, Vivaldi dedicated another set of concertos to the Holy Roman Emperor. Charles VI was actually in Trieste, which is not that far from Venice, overseeing the building of a new port. And Vivaldi went and met him and handed him a copy of a set of part books in Vivaldi's own hand for a new set of concertos, also titled La Cetra. So, the La Cetra is the ancient instrument, the lyre, L-Y-R-E, not L-I-A-R. There you go. This was the instrument that had been given by the god Mercury to Apollo. And so Apollo, one of his key attributes in the art world is, it's him because he's got his lyre with him. As the years went by, the instrument changed to move with the times. So in the Renaissance era, it became, he was often depicted with the lira da braccio, for instance, instrument you stick between your legs. And then in the 17th century, often that would be changed for a violin. So basically, Vivaldi's giving a set of Apollonian concertos, which is sort of flattering the emperor, saying that you are godlike, you are Apollonian. Anyway, the set of parts that he dedicated to the emperor, they survive today in the National Library of Austria in Vienna. But very sadly, the solo violin part is missing. Given Matteis was presumed, as he was leader of the orchestra, he was presumably the guy that played the solo part. And I do also wonder whether he's the guy responsible for having taken his music home and not returned it, like so many musicians do today.